Welcome to episode 101 of What If Civilization Started Over. So, in the last episode, as you can see, we saw the complete destruction of Russia, which kind of, it says like four major sections. Actually, maybe not, I don't know, I just thought of that on the spot. But over here in the west, you can see the Baltic states have returned, along with Ingria, I keep thinking Petrograd, but it's more Ingria. So they're here, and we have these four, or five, I think. Sort of like North Ukrainian countries. Ukraine's back, and so is Volodka. We also have Astrakhan returned. The Uralia country is also back, but they've been split with two new regions over here getting their independence. So big blue one and this salmony one, or rose maybe. And then the Volodka country had to split up both of these areas. Baikal regained all of their territory that was taken by the Russians, but they didn't get this stuff back because that was taken by somebody else. Well, Mongolia. But they're basically back, and then, the pink country already existed, never mind. And then all these Central Asian countries regained all of their territory, and then the orange and the pink countries expanded a bit to kind of like merge more of the Central Asian religion areas. But yeah, lots of cool new countries and lots of bigger countries. We also saw the expansion of the Franglo ideology over here into the Alsace country, although it hasn't expanded further than that, but it definitely could. I think we had some other stuff, like economic alliances, but to be honest, I haven't recorded one of these last Friday. Oh yeah, you joined the Indian Economic Alliance. Because I had to revise, man, I've got tests and stuff, dude. How depressing is that? Anyway, also, Ghana, at some point, I made the blue country over here, so they don't need that anymore. Anyway, loads of cool economic alliances. I don't think we're going to start with that, though. Because at the start of today's episode, we need to do something pretty major, which is grab the Franglo-Union colour, and for no reason, they're just going to unite entirely with the nation of the Netherlands. So they've decided to stop existing once again, which is kind of crazy. During World War III, an entire era, which is about 80 years long, they didn't exist, and now they have joined the Franglo state. So that's kind of crazy, and not something that people expected to happen. So we can see their country. Okay. A lot of layers that they're on, so they're forced out of the nation's alliance because they don't exist anymore. Ideology, they were a Franglo country. Okay. They were, of course, a Franglo country, which means it's just them and the Alsace country now. And then, I don't know, there's some other things, but like alliances and whatever. But there you go, the Franglo-Union has evidently become quite a good country to join as the Dutch join in, and now it's like the Franglo-Dutch Union, but I'm not going to call it that. It's kind of scary to some countries as this nation becomes even more dominant in its position as number one in the world. But yeah, the Franglo ideology is kind of scary to some countries, and yeah, we can definitely see that do more scary things. But at the moment, it seems kind of fine. I don't know why I'm going on shapes. But what I need to do at the moment is go over here to Western Europe because a certain country will be collapsing, and that is unfortunately this purple one right over here. The purple country, if we look into it, I think is almost, if not entirely, it's all European religion. This country is kind of got links to the other purple country that was down here and invaded by the Romanians in the interwar period between World War I and World War II. But they're not entirely. It's more that this country is divided between ethnicities, like a Romanian area, a Polish area, and a Ukrainian area. And some people want to join these other Russian countries, but it's more that they want to join these stronger nations. Ukraine is like a very new country because it's just come back, but it is a lot stronger than these other northern Russian countries. So the nation will fall into civil war. It was ideologically a left-wing democracy. Ukraine's centrist, Romania's centrist, and also a constitutional monarchy, and Poland is a right-wing democracy or centre-right democracy. So yeah, they're all kind of good countries, but this country of course falls into anarchy, as I said before, and we kind of see these troops go into the areas which they claim. So the Polish are the first to send the military in. In my mind, the right-wing countries are more like pro-military ideas and stuff, so they're going to send their military in first. After that, we see Romania, who has had their military around a lot longer than Ukrainians, send their forces in. There's a lot less areas that are kind of claimed now by the Romanian nationalists, but they send their forces into those territories. And then Ukraine will finally send its forces into the remainder of the territories, including the capital city. This isn't quite how the division's going to be, but it's going to be like something along these lines. And after that, they just partition to Russia in Poland, but now they're going to go down to Bulgaria to partition up this country. Alright, so I've drawn the lines of division. Something important to note is this is a very historic part of the Ukrainian border, this weird peninsula looking bit, or panhandle. It's like a really old bit of Ukraine, and I remember it from like World War One times in this series, so that's kind of cool. However, the people here more kind of align ideologically with Poland rather than ethnically, but nonetheless they will join the Polish state, and we see those areas from Ukraine, and then this very small portion down here will join with the Romanians. So there you go, this country is now completely destroyed, and Poland has a really long arm. Ideologically, I just thought it really interesting. A lot of these Russian countries are centre-left democracies, which could definitely change into the future, as most of the people who joined the Polish areas, most people who joined the Polish areas wanted. I like the ideas of central-right democracy, which right-wing democracy. So they kind of want to join Poland for those reasons. Because Russia itself, like the old Russian country, was quite a right-wing country. It was also an autocracy, which is pretty right-wing, I would say. Anyway, let's move down here to China, because the country just made an interesting decision, and that is the nation of this little green guy down here. They pulled a number of offensive things against the pink country, like leaving the nation's lines, which is the pink country pushing them to do. The democracy is already pretty right-wing. As the nuclear bombs, they have 3, and all of them are positioned towards major cities of the pink team, and that's like pretty scary for these guys. Now, do they have a justifiable reason to be so offensive towards one of the strongest countries in the world? And I'm just going to do a find. Yeah, I've got a lot of possible history maps. Let's see, power rankings. Let's go have a look at the power rankings. Yeah, it's 2013 at this point. Number 1 is the Franco Union, even further now because of their annexation of the Netherlands, followed by Korea, the Ganjiatic country, Italy's back and forth, Indochina in 5th, Norway's in 6th, America's in 7th, 8 is Tibet, and 9 is Northern Brazil, and then 10th is Southern Brazil, which is kind of fun, and they've got cool borders-ish. I don't know how much I like this, but it's alright. Anyway, they are also really snotty because, of course, my immune system is destroyed. I don't even think I have one. It's just so broken. Anyway, yeah, this country, bad idea to be doing offensive things towards the Indo-Chinese country, and Indochina is going to take this pretty badly, and they're going to invade, of course, which is why I'm here. But this country was very ethnically linked to the old country, the Sichuan country that was up here. I think it was Sichuan. I don't remember. Yeah, they were once the same nation, and then they fell apart when this country was invaded by the Orange team, which I think is like over here. So they feel really bad about what happened to that country, and they got really angry at the Indo-Chinese for invading them. So they decided to take some offensive maneuvers against them, and that went badly. So this country is going to be completely invaded by Indochina. However, something I did mention before was that this country had its nukes prepared to hit the Indo-Chinese country. Now they made a bit of a mistake in the fact that they had their nukes really close to the border, and they kind of underestimated just how powerful like the 5th strongest country in the world is. So that was dumb. But they do manage to drop 1 nuclear bomb onto an Indo-Chinese city, which can reduce their nuclear number by 1. So they go down to 2, but in fact they're just going to go down to 0, because Indochina is going to win this war, obviously, and they're going to take all 2 of your nukes. So after that, we see the complete capitulation of the country a few days later, and the nation has fallen apart. In the peace treaty, some pretty obvious stuff is going to happen, as it is fully annexed by the growing Indo-Chinese Empire, which has had more justifiable reasons than other countries who have formed empires in this series. It's not quite an empire, but like, it's still not great, what you're doing. Okay, so Indochina is now up to 12 nuclear bombs. However, they will be developing even more, as they are now all the way up to a crazy 16 nuclear bombs, which is quite a lot. Their nuclear industry is definitely, like, it's functional, which is pretty important for your nuclear industry. However, it's not super incredibly amazing or anything. Apart from that, the Koreans will also be developing their own stockpile of nuclear bombs, getting up to 16 as well. They have a far more developed nuclear program, and it's a lot better. Their country is, of course, 2nd in the world, so of course it's going to be good. But they're also not invading loads of countries for nukes. Talking of invading countries, however, one country up here in eastern Russia has just completely collapsed, and unfortunately, it's the pink team, a country which I really like, but they're not really a great country. They are pretty, I think, culturally united, aren't you guys? I don't know, man. Culturally, it's... Oh, wait, where is it? yeah, culturally, there's some areas of northern Japanese Korean culture. There's mostly pink team culture, and then a bit of this Okhotsk country, and then kind of Baikal. But nobody lives in those areas, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, most of this country is pink team culture, except like the capital, which is weird. However, this country relied almost entirely off of Russia for imports, and then also the Koreans. However, with the collapse of Russia, this country lost a huge load of places where it's selling its resources, because the Russians were a major producer of the technology to get rid of the effects of nuclear bombs. Korea is also doing that, but Russia was kind of doing it more because Russia got nuked a lot more. So the Koreans will have to move in. They say, like, you know what, it's unfortunately what we've got to do to save the people of the pink team. And they move in, capturing all of the at least slightly populated areas of this nation. There's like 3 cities here. So they're all captured. And the Koreans, oh wait, they do that because they can. It's not like they're invading, they're just occupying. After that, they move into the entirety of the Kamchatka Peninsula and into the Aleutian Islands, taking over all populated areas of the country before it doesn't collapse, but the government is like, you know what, we're probably better under the Koreans. And then in the peace treaty, it won't come as a surprise to you, but Korea will be fully annexing this country, some land they've owned previously in the series, back in, I don't remember which episode, back in the colonial days, I believe. So they retake all of this land. It's still pretty Korean. They'll speak Korean in this country. So it's all yeah. Oh damn it. Yeah, it's all kind of good. Yeah, the capital taken down, and there you go. The nation is back under Korean control. Just some more resources I guess it does look a lot bigger on the world map. However, we have to move slightly west over here to Central Asia. Now, Central Asia is an interesting place. The economic alliance over here in Central Asia, they really want to spread it because this alliance they claim is a fusion. Okay, that's a lot of squares. A fusion between the old Central Asian alliance and the Indian Economic Alliance. However, many Central Asian countries will not accept the currency of like this Indian currency down here, so they're going to come up with a new plan because most countries have the Central Asian country currency, like just general Central Asian monetary thing. And because of that, they'll be saying that if you, what am I saying? They can switch their currency to the Central Asian one or the Indian one, and if you have one of those two currencies, you can be a member of our economic alliance. So the Kashmiri country and the Arab country switch over to the Central Asian currency, or back to that currency, and it's going to cause the alliance to become much more open to various other nations. So we see the Central Asians. I'm confused. What did I do wrong? Oh, it's just really laggy for some reason. The Central Asians rejoined this alliance because they were in its first early versions. But I think a lot of the other countries are too new to really join it at this point. But we could see more expansion of the alliance going on into this series, so that's pretty exciting. What about other economic alliances? Well, over here in China, we will see the creation of a Chinese economic alliance. I do believe they all use the same currency. I just need to check how many economic alliances we have. We've got squares, diamonds, parallelograms, trapeziums, and circles. So, I don't know how far we got. Triangles? Do we not have a triangle economic alliance? I guess not. But the leading country in this alliance will, of course, be the capital area. It's like the hub for China, but we see multiple other Chinese countries join in to this economic alliance, being those 3, and then over here in the red country and the pink country, they will also join. So it's open to all Chinese countries, but you do have to be a Chinese country to join it, and also use the Chinese currency to be a member of this alliance. And it's going to kind of scare the Koreans because it's more integration of China. So they go down here to Indonesia, and what they're going to do is something kind of controversial, which is create their own military alliance. So if we look at military alliances, there is the Square Military Alliance in Central Asia, which is now, because the non-existence of Russia dissolved. So goodbye to that one. With the Trapezium one in Europe, Circles in Europe as well, which is also in America, but it's only 4 countries now, and the Diamond Alliance over in Central Asia. This one will have to be, I'm just not good at remembering what I've said. I think we don't have the parallelogram, so we're going to make a parallelogram military alliance between the Koreans and the Indo-Chinese. I really should just cut this bit out. Indochina and Korea form their own alliance, and they're also going to add in the nation of West Papua. So that's pretty awesome. What a great pickup you got there. They helped them out in the coalition in World War III, and yeah, that's pretty cool, I suppose. We do need to look at another country who's joining a military alliance, and I really didn't tease this earlier, but this country got mentioned in connection with another country in the military alliance, Poland, as the Bulgarians will join the the Trapezium military alliance, which I don't have a trapezium up, so there you go. It's a strange placed country for them because they're all over here in Eastern Europe or the Balkans. At least Italy is a bit, so that's bizarre. Anyway, moving on over to the Franco military alliance, we see the Alsace country join that. Germany has not yet joined it, but they definitely could in the future, along with potentially other countries, like in Iberia, for example. Anyway, we have one last event of the episode, and that is going to be a military operation over here in Central Asia, in the Mint country, who is extremely disliked by absolutely everybody around them. They have a military dictator in control of their country. Religiously, there's a large area of this Central Asian split off religion, and then in the West, it is just normal Central Asian faith. And yeah, everyone's going to invade them today, so that kind of sucks. I don't entirely know what the petition's going to look like, but it's not going to be good for them. The Salmon country is the first one to start the war, as they send their troops in across the western border, moving straight into the capital city, weakening basically everything in the nation. The Orange team is also going to send some of their forces in. I don't know if they're going to get anything, but they send their troops in, so that's good. And they push towards this major city, taking it. The Pink team will send its forces in following that, with them taking both of these major cities in the north. This country, as I said before, with the loss of its capital city, has basically just collapsed, and it's really, there's no one who wants to help it. The Tibetans are even helping to fight against this country, as they send in their own forces too. It's just a huge coalition of Central Asian countries, all against the Mint one, who poses zero threat to anybody, apart from the 4 nuclear bombs they own. But shush, don't worry, these guys also own loads of nuclear bombs. And following the Kashmir invasion, we're just going to get rid of this country. Bye-bye. And yeah, I'm now going to partition it. Central Asia is going to change. Alright, so I have completely divided this country and done some stuff with the nukes. In fact, I'll just get to the nukes after this, actually. So the nation has been split between all the different countries who invaded it. So first off, we see the Orange team take over this very small portion of the country. I don't think you meant to own that bit. But yeah, they slightly extend themselves out, but it protects their capital city. The Salmon country takes these 2 provinces, whilst the Pink gets this very valuable area up in the north. The Blue team gets rather a large chunk, and the Green team takes this small bit, but with a major city. And the Tibetans take over the final area, which also has a major city. So after that, we see the division of Central Asian, or the Mint country, looks like this, and the nation is now entirely removed from the map. So yeah, everyone's pretty happy with that. It's no longer a dictatorship. All these countries got released as democracies, even if they weren't before, and that's kind of because of the intervention of countries like the Franco Union and Korea, Indochina and Tibet in the Russian Civil War, like the volunteer troops, and Italy. They got sent around during that war, so that's why there's lots of democracy up here. Mongolia, oh my god, you should be so afraid. Anyway, yeah, that's probably going to do it for today's episode, except for the nuclear bombs. So, they all got divided between these different countries. There were 4 in the Mint country. So, 1 went to the Salmon team, 1 went to Kashmir, 1 went to Tibet, and 1 went to the Pink Lake country up here, who's expanded a lot in the past 2 episodes. They're now really big. I mean, they just got independence, but expanded since independence. So there we go. They're having a pretty good time. It was just whoever captured them, whatever they got. And then over here to Europe, the purple country right in the middle here had 2 nuclear bombs, just like both of these countries. So they got split between Poland and Ukraine. The Romanians, for some reason, didn't really care if they didn't get any nuclear bombs, which is rather bizarre, wouldn't you say? They didn't care about not getting nuclear bombs? I mean, that is pretty okay. Can you just write it in the right color? Ah, I see. There you go. There you go. I'm on 43, not 44 anyway. How strange. How strange. Anyway, that's probably going to do it for today's episode, unless there's any more Nations Alliance. Oh wait, the Nations Alliance isn't going to be expanding today's episode. At least not entirely. I think more countries will join it. However, some countries will be leaving it, such as the red country over here in Asia, or what? what am I even saying? I don't even know. I meant some countries will be leaving it, but not all of them. We see the Azerbaijani country leave it. The Central Asians are kind of fine. Over here, the rest of Asia, they're kind of just chilling, but it's not super positive. We see this green country join or leave. How we do see one nation down here, weirdly enough, the Australians will be joining the alliance, the Eastern Australians. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre they're doing this, but there's probably some reason. And then I'm going to just do one more thing. Because of the meddling of the Franco-Union and the rest of the nation's alliance leaders in the Russian Civil War, we see a load of these countries, after they've kind of gained control of their nation, join into the nation's alliance, who they thank for their independence. So that's pretty cool. Not all of them. We see Volodka and the Blue Country and Euralia, and Astrakhan was considering it, however they didn't, because kind of both of their major power neighbors didn't join it either. But there you go. Europe is oh wait, Ukraine would also have joined. Whoops, definitely would have joined. Yeah, but Europe is almost entirely in this alliance, apart from the Red Country if you count them, Caucasia if you count them, Volodka, the Blue Country, Euralia if you count them, Astrakhan if you count them, and Finland. So they're effectively 100% in the alliance, apart from Volodka and the Blue one. And there you go. That's going to do it for today's episode. We have quite a few countries in this alliance, but noticeably not really any American ones. But Australia's there though, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Like, subscribe, and have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.